Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Barakatah. To the house of David, which would consist of the hopefully elect, which we are hoping and striving to be a part of that number, because amen, the destruction, the level of destruction that's getting ready to consume this place, it's going to be, as it tells you in Daniel 12:1, it's going to be unlike anything anyone has ever seen before. All right, and this is why, when it comes down to it, and World War III pops off, man, well, pretty much we're already in World War III. It's just not to the point where it's nuclear, but when it goes nuclear, this is why we are hoping to get beaten up in those chariots, man. All right. Because I'm going to read this real quick in Joel chapter 2. Matter of fact, yeah, let me get that. Joel chapter 2. I'm sorry, Joel chapter 3. Now I'm gonna read verse 14 because I don't want to jump the gun, because I'm gonna come back to this in Joel chapter 3, but I don't want to jump the gun just yet. So I'm gonna just go ahead and read this real quick. Joel chapter 3 and 14. It says, "Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision." Now, talking about the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat, all right? The Lord's judgment, all right? Because you see, basically, because, again, this is going to be just dealing with World War III, some World War III news and what's going on, man, because, hey, beautiful times that we're in, man, because Yahweh Bahashem Shai, as it, we go here real quick in Revelation 19, and I got a lot of precepts, just basically stayed up, so I'm gonna just try to get through this while the spirit is hot. You gotta jump on the iron while it's hot, so I might kind of be all over the place, so Salakia. But Revelation 19, and I'm going to read Revelation 19 and 11. It says, "And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True." Now, this is talking about Yahweh Shai in the chariot that the Lord's going to show up in, a massive chariot. That cloud, when you read in Revelation, the first chapter, all right? It says, "And in righteousness he doeth judge and make war." All right. And you see, because again, everything that's being orchestrated right now is being orchestrated by Yahweh Bahashem Shai. That's why it said again, "And in righteousness he doeth judge and make war." So again, the Lord is ultimately going to stir up the minds of these different leaders of these other nations. He's gearing them towards World War III and gearing them towards, he's going to bring them over there to the land of, over there in the Middle East, the Yahweh Shaphat, the valley of Jehoshaphat, the Lord's decision, all right, where these nations, they're going to be judged for what they did to the people of Yahweh Bahashem Shai, all right, they're going to receive their judgment. So again, the Lord is ultimately causing all this to happen. And because you see, we're in the time of war right now. You got people crying out, calling for peace when we're in the time of war. And again, basically, like I was saying, hey, we're in a time of war, man, and Yahweh Bahashem Shai is stirring things up, and that's why I said, man, it's beautiful, beautiful times that we're in, man. Because this is why we gotta hold on, because I mentioned this in a previous video the other day, dealing with two major prophecies, as well as other, prophecies that have to take place. But two of the major prophecies we're looking out for. One of them, and in the video I mentioned the Revelation 13, 16, and 17, that being mandated. All right, that's one. And the second one being World War III. All right, because we know and understand that again, when those nukes get shot off, that's when Yahushua, he's going to crack forth through those clouds. That's when he's going to show up in that white horse, that white cloud, or you talk about the chariot, as well as the innumerable amount of angels that the Lord is going to show up with. To one, because you see, the day of Yahweh Shema Shai is going to be a day of great wrath. There's going to be a lot of killing by way of fire, again, by way of those nukes, the warheads, all right, the ICBM missiles, all right. But not only that, you're going to have fire coming from the chariots. They're going to be destroying monuments, all right, zapping people into incinerating people into nothing, right? But the chariots are also going to come to deliver the elect, those scattered about the four corners of the earth. So, I always use the example of dealing with the chariots. When they're coming to do two things: to seek and destroy. They're coming to seek out the elect and destroy everything else by way of fire. So you see, and again, all tying into how the Lord is a man of war, man. All right. Exodus 15:3, it tells you that. You see, but again, this is what the Lord is he's stirring all these things up, man. And it's beautiful seeing these things play out because, hey, a lot of things in the news dealing with World War III, man. First, I want to touch on this situation, and let me pull this precept up. This situation dealing with because North Korea firing North Korea is basically testing hypersonic missiles. You see, and which that kind of has America worried right now, because when you talk about hypersonic missiles, I believe the definition of a hypersonic missile, it has to be something like 5 times faster than the speed of sound. That would classify as a hypersonic missile. All right, and I think this hypersonic missile that North Korea is testing is 7 times faster than the speed of sound. You see, and not only that, supposedly with this hypersonic missile, supposedly the warhead, it detaches from the base of the missile. All right, the warhead detaches itself, and it's able to guide, like be a how do you say it? A gliding warhead, basically, which basically meaning that with that being said, it can because like with a lot of these missiles, like I believe because again, dealing with North Korea, you got to understand, I think this is the third missile that I think this is the third time because we're in October, because basically North Korea has been testing missiles. All right, I believe last month they tested like 3 missiles, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it was something about what's the other one, man? Because there's a difference between when it comes to hypersonic missiles and I think it's cruise missiles. Because North Korea, I do believe they were testing cruise missiles. But you see the difference being that, like I said, with the I think it's a cruise missile versus a cruise missile. Like when you shoot a cruise missile, it goes from point A to point B. All right, it's easy to detect. It's easy to it's not easy to basically with a cruise missile, it can't evade missile defenses. But you see with hypersonic missiles, again, like I said, supposedly this missile that North Korea is testing, the warhead can detach and it can maneuver, supposedly, versus a cruise missile. Like I said, it just goes from point A to point B. All right, But with a detachable nuke head from these hypersonic missiles, it can evade missile defenses. It can't be detected on radar, right? It can basically zigzag and you do all type of crazy things. It can go undetected, and you see that's dangerous. And not only that, the fact that North Korea is testing hypersonic missiles, it's almost a rare thing, because from what I understand, the only nations that have hypersonic missile capabilities are China and Russia, from what I understand. And now North Korea is testing. You see, and with this hypersonic missile with North Korea, I think they said it was like 4,000 miles per hour. That's like 1 mile per minute or per second. I think they said 1 mile per second. This missile is able to travel. You see, and they're also testing the when it comes to the range, because all in all, hey, North Korea as well as all these other nations, man, they're testing their missiles. As far as their range to reach the shores of America, because at this point, people are getting fed up with America, man. As a little side note, because dealing with this situation with, I've reported on this already, but, because again, this goes into Revelation, the 17th chapter, where it talks about how the beast shall hate the whore, right? And I'm going to get this real quick in Obadiah, where basically you're going to have all these nations turn their back on America. All of America's allies are going to turn their back on America, because they're going to come to the understanding that America is basically the problem. It's the reason for all these things. I'm going to get this in Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. Yeah, because at the, like I said, I used this comparison before, man. It's like, let's say you're on a job, man, and you're working with a fellow employee, all right, knowing damn well y'all don't like each other, but the simple fact that y'all got to work with each other, you keep the peace, just get the job done or whatnot, because y'all got to work together. And that's how a lot of these nations that are allied with America, that's how they are, man. They're just working with America because they know, it's all business at the end of the day. They're just conducting business with America because they got to. But again, they don't like America. You see, they're just doing business with America, so on and so forth. But you see, the time is going to come where, again, well, reading on to finish it out, it says, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound unto thee. There is none understanding in him. So, again, it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. So basically, again, all these nations that are that are confederate with America, that are allies with America, they're going to turn their back. And like I was saying, going back to just sidetracking with the fact that you got America, UK, and Australia doing deals. All right, and France is still pissed off at America because basically Australia was going to Australia backed out of a deal with France. They lost billions. All right, you see, and France is looking at America like, well, we're supposed to be allies, we're supposed to be homeboys, and you went ahead and did this behind our back. And you see, now people are talking, dealing with the whole NATO and the EU structure. You see, people are talking now, because now France, again, because they're part of that NATO structure, they're talking about getting out of NATO. And not only that, because Australia got out of this deal with France because of America, right? You know what France did, or what France is doing now? Basically, they're going to China and Russia for help. You see, so that's just a little sidetrack, man. On top of everything that's going on, you got Turkey, which is also another NATO ally, is basically doing backdoor deals, I'll say, with Russia. All right. And that's going into the 10 toes when you read about it in the book of Daniel. All right. And basically how they're breaking up, man. You see? And again, all in all these nations, because of America, Babylon the Great, they're going to shoot the missiles over here and completely destroy Babylon. I'm going to get that in, that's Revelation 17. I just quoted it. Revelation 17. I'll start at verse 13. It says, "These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast." Now, this is talking about the 10 horns again. Because basically, when all these nations, they're going to gather over there in the valley of Jehoshaphat, all right, and shoot the missiles at America, right? And again, that's when Yahushua is going to, once they push those nuke buttons, that's when Yahushua is going to crack forth throughout the clouds. All right, it's going to be a simultaneous event. And once that takes place, the nations are going to stop shooting each other, because it's going to be World War III. So all the nations will be fighting each other. All right. And once they press those nuke buttons and Yahushua cracks out the clouds, they're going to stop fighting each other and try to fight Yahushua. NATO, the beast, all right, Russia, all these nations, they're going to try to fight Yahushua. So, verse 13, Revelation 17:13, "These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them." Yeah, because it's not going to be a fair fight by a long shot, man. It tells you in the second Ezra, man, how, hey, the Lord's not going to lift a finger. All right. He's not going to lift a sword or weapon. All right. The only thing that's going to be perceived is dust and smoke. So you see, the Lord's not even going to break a sweat when it comes to taking these nations out of power, man. But it says, for the Lord of lords and the King of kings, and they that are with him are called the chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. And again, this is starting to play out. All right. The 10 horns going into that NATO structure. Because again, France, they're pissed off because basically America stabbed them in the back. Right. Because like I said, you're starting to see the downfall of the 10 toes that you read about in Daniel. All right. It says, "These shall hate the whore," talking about America, "and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Again, because eventually all these nations are going to get sick and tired of America. When you read in the book of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, it talks about how the Lord is going to put an evil thought into the minds of Russia and these other nations to shoot their missiles. They're going to press those buttons. Because you see, a lot of these nations, they don't want to go to war. Right? They don't want to go to war. They don't want a nuclear fallout. But this is all the will of the Lord. So he's going to put it in their mind. He's going to put that evil thought into their mind. Something's going to happen to where these nations are going to say, the hell with this, F this shit, and they're going to press those buttons and shoot missiles throughout the four corners of the earth, but primarily here in America. That's how this land is going to be made desolate. All right? Burnt with fire, man. But verse 17, it says, For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will. So you see, this is all the will of the Lord. So whether they want to or not, the Lord's going to make it to where they shoot their missiles. Because again, the Lord is orchestrating all this. All right. It says, "And give, for God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of the Lord, unto the words of God shall be fulfilled." So again, Yahweh Shem Shai he's orchestrating all this, man. And it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. But just touching on a few more things dealing with World War III, man. Because, matter of fact, I'm going to get this. In Revelation, same book. When you read Revelation 9 and 12, it says, "One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter." Now, the first woe is talking about World War I. And then it said 2 more woes have to take place. All right, 2 more world wars have to take place. Revelation 11:14, it says the second war is past, and behold, the third war cometh quickly. So you see, 2 world wars have taken place. World War I, World War II, they took place. Now we're about to enter into the third world war. World's war. All right, and this is going to be the world to end. This is going to be the end all be all for Esau and these other nations. Because again, once this after this war's war, all right, that's when our kingdom is going to be established. You see, you got a lot of people, they don't want World War III to take place because, again, they believe that it's going to be the end all be all. All right, a lot of people are afraid of the fact that now these nations have nuclear capabilities, right? And they don't want to be blown to smithereens. They don't want to, like a lot of these movies that, you know, these post-apocalyptic movies, right? A lot of people, they're afraid of that. But you see, again, it's not going to be the end all be all for us because, again, that's when our kingdom is going to start. So you see, the third war cometh quickly, man. And this is what's being geared up, man. So, yeah, man, you know, dealing with North Korea, man, testing these hypersonic missiles, man. Hey, like I said, it's almost a rare thing because the only other nations to have these hypersonic missiles are China and Russia. All right. And speaking of China, all right, dealing with China, man, hey, the tension with America and China, man, hey, China is getting pissed off. They're getting frustrated because America is basically antagonizing them. You see, because the U.S. is sending warships to the the Taiwan Straits, right? Because basically, Taiwan, they don't recognize themselves as a part of China. But you see, China's like, no, y'all belong to us. But Taiwan, they want their own dependency. They don't want to be recognized as being a part of China. And you see, Taiwan has ties with America. All right. And part of the reason why China is pissed off with America is because America is basically providing them with economic and military support. And China doesn't take too lightly to that. And you see, hey, Taiwan, they've been doing, I guess to say war drills, or basically exercises, because, hey, China's getting ready to invade Taiwan. China's going to invade Taiwan. All right, and when they do that, then, hey, again, being that Taiwan is affiliated, ally to America, America's going to have to step in. You see? Because basically China is accusing America of interfering with domestic affairs. Because again, China, even though Taiwan, they declare themselves dependent, China still recognizes Taiwan as a part of their province. So you see, man, you have China has been China has basically been harassing Taiwan. You see, because, hey, like I said, they're getting ready to invade Taiwan. Don't know when, but, hey, so yeah, man, dealing with that. And when you look into what do you call it? I just said it. The Straits, the Taiwan Straits. All right, because like I said, America is basically antagonizing China because America sending their warships to the Taiwan Straits, which is the Taiwan Straits. If you could just look this up on the map. It's that space, okay? Because you got China, you have a body of water, all right? The body of water, and then you got Taiwan. And the Taiwan Straits is that body of water, that space that separates China from Taiwan. And again, America is sending their warships through that area. And again, they're basically antagonizing China. You see? So yeah, man, hey, things are heating up, man. And another thing, with going back to North Korea, all right, they're also blaming, because you got tension between North Korea and South Korea, right? Because North Korea, again, understanding that South Korea is also allied with America. South Korea is allied with America, and you see the same thing with Taiwan and with China, man. Almost, you see, because like I said, with North Korea and South Korea, there's a lot of tension going on, and North Korea, because basically with all these missile tests that North Korea has been conducting, they're basically trying to, say, because again, America is basically antagonizing North Korea as well. You see, it's all going back to America. You can see why these nations, man, they're going to get frustrated with America, right? They're getting frustrated with Esau because he's antagonizing them. He's antagonizing these nations, man. Basically wants them to throw the first blow. You see, which again ultimately is how about Shemal Shai. But North Korea is also blaming America for the tensions between the regional tensions with North and South Korea. North Korea is blaming America for that. You see? So yeah, man, could be on the lookout for that, man, as well. Like I said, America, how they're dealing with South Korea. North Korea, they don't like that. They're not taking too kindly to that. You see? So just more tension being added on. Dealing with World War III, man. Hey, the tension is brewing up with all these different nations, all the back and forth. You got China against Australia, right? There's a lot going on, man. You see? So this is why it's beautiful, man. This is a time to be rejoicing. Because, hey, how about Shemal Shai? He's making his moves. He's getting ready to deliver us. Lord's will we be of that number, man. But you see, not last but not least, because this is this is really this is what really could kick it off. Because pretty much, and I gotta, because I was watching a bunch of videos, man. I'm not gonna play them. I might read a little bit of the summary of some of the videos. But basically, Iran and Israel, all right, two key players, man, knowing and understanding that Israel is allied to America. Iran is going to be backed by Russia. And if you know prophecy, like I quoted Ezekiel the 30th chapter, all right, Gog and Magog, Russia is going to be a guardian to all those other nations. Like I said, Turkey is I think they're buying damn, I forgot what it is. I think it's weapon defense systems, or they're basically Turkey is doing deals with Russia, and like I said, Turkey is a part of that NATO structure. So hey, you see, man. As well as France, as I mentioned, they're part of that NATO structure, but they're doing deals with Russia. All right, because again, Ezekiel 38, Russia is gonna be a guard unto all those other nations. All right. So again, once Israel and Iran go back and forth. All right, that's when the big players, America and Russia, is going to get involved. You see? And because Russia is also testing hypersonic missiles. Right? Russia is testing hypersonic missiles, as well as doing war drills. Right? I brought it out recently how Russia is doing. I forgot what nation it was, but basically I think they were conducting the biggest war drills, I think they said of all time, or of this century, or something like that. But Russia is basically conducting one of the biggest war drills of all time. I'll say it like that. You see? So, hey, man, all these nations, and it's not just Russia, it's not just North Korea. A lot of these nations, they're testing these missiles. What do you think? Because I'm going to get this in Joel. Go back to Joel, the 2nd chapter, speaking on nations such as, like I mentioned, North Korea, as well as a lot of those other smaller nations, right? I'm going to get this in the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So you see, and that's what's taking place right before our very eyes. All right. These nations, they are gearing up for war. It says, verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So these once smaller nations, you know, such as North Korea and India and these other smaller nations, all right? Because at one point, America was the only one that had nuclear capabilities. But now everyone has nukes now. Everyone has the big guns, you see? But on verse 10 again, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, right? And basically meaning, like I said, man, gearing up towards war, right? The plowshares into swords and pruning hooks into spears. These are agricultural tools, you see? And basically, I'll say like the money that they were put into their agriculture structure, all right, now they're putting it and gearing it towards war. You see? Because, hey, like I said, this is the time that we're in. We're in the time of war. So you see, you know, this is what's being girded up, man. This is what's being geared up, man. I'm going to read verse 11. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And that's why I read on down earlier, the valley of decision. All right, Yehoshaphat. All right, because the Lord's stirring up all these different leaders, these nations, gearing them up towards World War III so they can receive their judgment. Let me get this in Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So you see, the Lord is orchestrating all this. He's putting it in the minds of these different nations, the leaders of these different nations, and gearing them up towards World War III. The Lord is doing this. Because like I said, these nations, they don't want to go to war. And they don't want to go nuclear. But hey, like I said, whether they want to or not, Yahweh Shem Yahshua is going to make them. He's going to make them go over there to the valley of Jehoshaphat and receive their judgment. But just real quick, because basically, like I said, with Iran and Israel, all right, hey, that's something to definitely be on the lookout for. One video here says the countdown to an Israeli war with Iran has begun. Right? Because basically, Iran and Israel, man, they've been going back and forth forever. All right, they've been in this Cold War, you know, as long as we can remember. All right. Because basically, Israel, man, they're afraid of Iran possessing basically Israel is afraid of Iran possessing nukes. All right, weapons of mass destruction, so to say, because that would smell very bad for Israel. So Israel, they're basically talking about how they can't let Iran get hold of these type of weapons, man. These weapons of mass destruction. And to see throughout the months and even the past weeks and days, man, Iran's nuclear facilities have been basically being attacked. All right, a lot of Iran's nuclear facilities have been attacked. All right, you know, and they're blaming it on Israel. And hey, Iran, they're ready to strike. They're ready to strike Israel, man. They're ready to go to war. You see, and it all goes back to Esau, like I said, because Esau, man, he's the antagonist, man. You see, you got a lot of let me see if I got some videos pulled up of see, look at this. I got this one video here. It says breaking, and this was 4 days ago. It says Iran strikes Israel's secret bases. Iran fires 4,000 missiles to Israel base in Azerbaijan. Right. So again, you know, Iran and Israel, man, they've been going back and forth. Right. Iran's ready to strike. You know, hey, man, again, it's beautiful times that we're in, man. You see, but there was see if I can pull something up real quick, man. Because as it was reported on before, dealing with the situation with the Palestinians and the Israeli forces, you had basically Israeli cops, I'll just say cops, attacking Palestinian residents and evicting them, forcing them out their homes, and just all type of chaos over there. You see, because the point being that Israel, which again they go back to Edomites, man, they're stirring up all this strife, man. They're causing up all this trouble, man. You see, Esau's being blamed for everything, and these nations are getting tired of it. But I'm gonna just go ahead and get into these precepts, man, because there's a lot going on when you touch on dealing with this and with the World War III topic, man. There's a lot going on. And, it's just a matter of time, man. That's how we know we're close. Because, again, two major prophecies are the Revelation 13, 16, and 17, the Charagma, as well as World War III. And these things are right around the corner. So Jeremiah 50 and 14, it says, "Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against Yahweh." And these arrows talking about those ICBM missiles, all right, being shot forth out of those bows, the silos. You got the silos, and then you got the missiles they shoot forth out of the silos, all right. That's the arrow being shot from his bow. Because again, all these nations are going to shoot their missiles over here at Babylon, all right, which is run by Esau. And you see, America's being blamed for all this, man, all this confusion, all this chaos. The backstabbing, whatsoever, man. America's being blamed for all this. So eventually it's going to get to a point where all these nations are going to shoot their arrows. They're going to shoot their missiles over here. You see? Let me get this in Jeremiah 51. And 46, it says, "Unless your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land, a rumor shall come forth 1 year, and after that, in another year, shall come a rumor." Good to see. For a long time, the talk of a war's war, man, it's been in the air, and it's just been it's been just that. It's been a rumor. You see, but eventually, there's gonna come a time where it's not gonna be a rumor anymore, man. You see, something's gonna happen to really set things off, and World War III is gonna be in full effect. Hey, people, you can expect to be, the 2/3 of you jakes, you can expect to be drafted and sent over there to the Valley of Jehoshaphat to receive your judgment as well. But you see, eventually, when you read on, it says, "In violence in the land, ruler against ruler." I'll read verse 47. "Therefore, behold, the day is come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded, and all her slain shall fall in the midst of her." I'll read verse 48. "Then the heaven and the earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon. For the spoilers shall come unto her from the north, saith the Lord." So you see, talk about them, the Russians, and all those nations over there in the north, man. Because America is also known as a virgin daughter of Babylon. You see, when all hell really starts breaking loose out here, hey, America's going to get touched. America's going to get her cherry popped. And she's not going to be a virgin no more. You see, because America has never, as far as warfare, has never been touched. Nobody's really invaded this land, right? And this is why this goes into the proud of these people, the people of this nation. Because America's never been invaded, America's never been touched, never lost a war. But you see, hey, all that's about to be, hey, the Lord's about to do away with all that, man. America's going to get touched. She's going to get her cherry popped, and eventually she's going to get her flesh is going to be burnt with fire. Because that's what you're supposed to do with a whore, man. All right, you burn her with fire. America's going to get burnt with fire. But I'm going to get this, and I'm going to end it in Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 4. "The noise of the multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations, gathered together. The Lord of hosts," right, the Lord of armies, mustereth the host of the battle. So again, going back to the fact that the Lord is the one he's mustering all this. He's stirring the pot. He's causing all these things to happen. He's putting it in the minds of these different nations, gearing them towards World War III. The Lord is doing all this. So you see, man, hey, it's beautiful. And I'm going to read this as well. Verse 5, they come from a far country. You see that far country, the country from the north. Because again, Russia is going to be the main catapult in America's destruction. All right, Russia's going to be, Russia plays a key. Russia is a key player in prophecy when it comes to the downfall, the destruction of America. So you see, it says, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. So you see, those weapons of his indignation, the indignation of Yahweh B'Shem Shai, because it tells you in Isaiah 55, I do believe, how, I'll just get that and I'll end it. Isaiah 55. Or was it 56? Because you see, again, these nations, man, they're conducting these war games. You see, they're racking up on missiles, right? You see, all this takes money, man. You see, when these nations conduct these war games and, you know, they beat their plowshares into swords and, you know, do all these things, man, putting all their money towards warfare, which it takes money to do these things. So, hey, you best believe, man, these nations, man, it's not going to be in vain. They're not going to stack up on all these missiles and not use them. No, man. They're going to put these things to use, man. It's like as I find this, Isaiah 54, excuse me. Isaiah 54 and 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. So you see, Yahweh B'Shem Shai set it up to where you would have these people to create these weapons of mass destruction, to create these nukes and these ICBMs and whatnot. Right? The Lord set it up to where they will be able to create these weapons of mass destruction. All right? You know? Because, hey, they're going to they're going to put those things to use. Because, like I said, man, it's not like the Lord created these individuals to create these weapons of mass destruction and not use them. No, man. All right? You see? Them nukes, man, they're going to be put to use, man. You see? So, like I said, man, these nations, they're not building up, wasting all this money and what they could be putting into their economy, yet they're putting it towards warfare, things pertaining to war, and not use it. No, man. You see? You know, and like I said, whether they want to or not, Yahweh B'Shem Shai is going to make them, he's going to put the thought into their mind to, use these weapons of mass destruction. You see, in the process of these nations getting judged for what they did to us, to our people. So this is what's being orchestrated through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Shai, man. And like I said, it's beautiful. You know, World War III is right around the corner. Like I said, man, you know, I mean, I could probably be sitting here another 45 hour just talking about things that's going on concerning World War III, man. There's a lot going on, you know, exciting times that we are in. Yahweh B'Shem Shai is hearing our cries and supplications, man. You know, so we just got to sit back and let things play out and hold on, because we're almost out of here. You see, but hopefully this was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh B'Shem Shai, Barakathum, to the hopeful elect. Lord's will. Until next time, Shalom.